We're running low on time, so you might have to go fast.
Yeah, I noticed that. First off, I want to show you guys a picture, even though it's huge, of an Oakland Raider fan. You may be wondering why am I showing you this, but it's part of my speech, of course. Now compared to this lovely cheese head of this couple, who's part of Green Bay Packers fan base. The reason I'm showing you guys this is that I come from California, and we know California has a lot of sports, and through those sports we have a lot of pride in our cities. Here in Portland, I've seen some support growing over the years for the Trailblazers, what's the only professional team we have here. What can kind of be a downside if you think about that? Well, in my speech, I'm going to talk about economic growth and potential, why we should have teams, and the last one, do we even have room? What we would get to. With the cities I've mentioned, like California, for instance, I'm going to be showing you the different cities just on the West Coast that have sports teams. Starting off with Los Angeles, California. As you notice, there's an NHL, which is National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, National Football League, and a Major League Baseball team. San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, California, excuse me. They have one of each, besides for Major League Baseball, when there's two teams. Seattle, Tacoma, Washington. There's no hockey team, but there's an NBA, NFL, and a Major League Baseball team. Then San Diego, with just an NFL team and an NBA, Major League Baseball team. And then us, with just one sport, basketball. Why just basketball? I mean, there's so much potential that's going wasted right there. On my top questions and answers that I posted online, I noticed there was some support for teams. Some people would say, yeah, we should support them and encourage more teams. And then there was some people like, for instance, Wendy, was like, nah, I'm not so interested in sports, why should we? And then most people were like, man, who cares about it? There's some important growth. And I just want to say what professional is. What's the four major professional teams? Hockey, basketball, football, and baseball, of course. And I noticed that two of our fellow students here are wearing baseball shirts, Philip and Jason. And you guys support, seeing the Mariners actually, do you support the Mariners?
I got a shit ready.
Sorry. That's cool.
But I like the Mariners, so I've been to the games when I was in Seattle.
Okay. Well, just to tell you guys, most people that support the Mariners travel all the way up to Seattle, where most of the economic growth goes for some reason. By buying tickets, buying hotel rooms to spend the night if they decide to, and they drink a little too much, of course. And just supporting the local economy over there. Where over here, there's not so much support because the Blazers have had its trouble in the past. But I want to encourage you guys actually to sponsor another team, because we do have one that's thinking about moving their franchise over here. What happens to be a multi-million-dollar franchise over a couple of years. For instance, there's a Major League Baseball team thinking about moving up to Portland for the home base. The average that I saw, and this was off Portland Baseball Group, was that in the next 25 years, if they do move up here, there's a chance for $433 million of taxable revenue off the players' income alone. On top of that, there's a $53 million from workers who work there. And with the workers, there's more job opportunities. There would be 200 full-time jobs created for executives, managerial, sales. And then there's another 1,400 part-time jobs that would be able to be created for operation systems like security, vendors, information, and so on. I mean, Portland needs more job opportunities. Because I know somebody talked about the employment rate in this class, of we're being the highest unemployed rate in the city, I believe. And I just wanted to throw this out. If there's 4 teams, then basketball, football, hockey, and baseball, if I didn't say that again, there's possibly $1.7 billion industry that could possibly move out here. And this is just rough figurations gathered from the team that wants to move up here. $212 million revenue from the employees. There would be 800 full-time jobs that could open up and 5,600 part-time jobs. Now that's a lot of part-time jobs that could be created if we did support our teams and encourage more teams to move up here. What would be a great thing? So the question is, do we have the room? And actually I do want to show this really quick. Most of you probably know this layout of Portland, but if I had it correct, with the main part of Portland right out here, and where I live is all the way probably out here. So I drive by a lot of farmland and a lot of land that's not being used to its full potential. Now with the stadium that can be moved, say out, where's 26? Out here with the US 26s, there's acres of farmland that potentially could be bought for a really good price to help the farmers, for instance, that decide to get out of farming because of money issues or whatnot. They could technically sell their land for multi-million dollars. I was actually talking to Julia, who brought up a good point. Why should we support the team? I realized this one's a little small, but I made another one, another copy. I got this off the Portland Baseball Group again. Just talking about the bond measure that was passed by the Senate, but got vetoed down. And here's a little bigger copy, and I did underline some of the thing. There was proposed a $150 million state bond to be applied towards the stadium, what would have cost $236 million. What is a lot of money, but the average cost for a stadium is around $200 million, so it's a little above. And the other good thing about this is that most of the money was actually going to be coming from the players' taxes, and then also by the visiting players' incomes. So there would have been enough support to get the funding necessary. It was also going to be null voided, and there was not a 30-year commitment by the team to get the support in. I mean, it's just fascinating that we could get so much support just in this little town, well, not little town, a huge town with the fun. Another thing I want to show you was where possibly could a stadium go. There's been a couple areas that was suggested. One was the Rose Quarter, actually blocked from the Rose Garden itself. Post office was near the river. A Union Station, Burnside, PG Park, Lincoln High School. I was not quite sure about that one, but who knows. I know it's your view right there. Yeah. And then it's Junction. And actually, there was a post site, what I have finished, what could help out with Portland Public Schools and that funding. I'll wrap up after this. This is actually by the Rose Garden. Portland Public Schools owns land. Currently, there's 2 office buildings and a warehouse. And this was one of the proposed sites, and it could offer a lot of money for Portland Public Schools itself. But in conclusion, I know I ran over, and it's kind of one of my things I noticed recently. But, I mean, for a business major, it makes sense to open up the doors for new franchises, just so we can have more growth in the city in many ways, economically, population, and whatever comes. And I also want to thank